Welcome back to the Demon Slayer Game Channel. Today we're going to be continuing our Final Fantasy XIV Dungeon Guide series. We're going to be taking a look at the Fractal Continuum. Starting off with this dungeon, you're going to immediately go in and take a right and click on the Allegan teleporter. Starting off for the first couple trash pulls in here, the large dreadnought unit does have a frontal cone that you'll want to watch out for, but the rest of the units don't have any abilities that you need to be worried about. Once you defeat the first two groups, then the door will open, allowing you to proceed on. In the next area, the mannequins mimic actual character abilities, so the Conjurer will cast Stone, while the Marauder will start casting Overpower. So you'll just want to dodge out of the Overpower AoEs and interrupt the Stone if you can. For the first boss, he does have a Tank Buster ability. These are abilities that are specifically used on the tank that deal considerable damage. It is a good idea to use damage mitigating abilities to reduce these. So for the first boss, Rapid Sever is going to be the Tank Buster, so anytime you see him casting this, it may be wise to use a tank ability to reduce the amount of damage. His Double Sever ability will alternate between either left and right or front and back, and then use the opposite side afterwards. So just dodge out of the AoE and then alternate into where the AoE was previously to dodge the second wave. Later in the fight, when he uses this ability, it will also be accompanied by large circular AoEs that you'll need to avoid. Then he'll start using Rapid Sever in quick succession, which, since your tank abilities last for a duration, they usually can last through both uses, so there's not much you need to worry about here. It'll just be added stress on your healer. He does have a circular AoE around him that will just need to be healed through by your healer. Getting hit by Double Sever will add a bleed debuff on the person hit, and the circular AoEs will add a damage up debuff. After the boss is dead, you'll click on the Allegan teleporter to go to the second area. For the ads in the second area, they do have abilities that do have cast times that can be interrupted. It's called Furore, and it does do party-wide damage, so if you can avoid these by either interjecting them or by stunning them, then that will help reduce the amount of damage everyone is taking. There will also be cone AoEs from the Naga that you'll need to sidestep out of. For the last group, the Chimera unit will have all the abilities of the traditional Chimeras that we've seen so far. Most of them are interruptible or stunnable, so you can interrupt any of the voice abilities or stun him whenever your interject is down. But if you do not have either of those up, after these units will dead, it'll bring you to the second boss, the Minotaur. He has several swipe and swing abilities that you'll need to watch out for. The 11-ton swipe is a frontal AoE that will only hit you if you're within range, so just back up from him and then move back in. The 111-ton swing is a 360-degree melee swing that anyone who's in melee range will want to move away from. His disorienting grunt will knock everyone away from him, and then he will randomly charge different people. After this charges are done, he will do a 10-ton slash that is a line AoE in whichever direction he is facing, so just move out from in front of him. When he moves to the center of the room and starts casting 1,111 ton swing, it is a party-wide AoE that will do significant damage. The way to avoid this is by going and clicking on one of the incubators to let the ad out, which will destruct the boss. And then you should switch to the ad and kill it as fast as possible before the boss is finishing feasting on it. If you do this, then the ad will die and the boss will not get his damage up buff. Otherwise, he gets a damage up buff, and anyone hit by abilities after this will most likely get one shot. After this, the abilities will repeat themselves, so you'll just rinse and repeat until the boss is dead. After the boss is dead, you'll click on the Aladdin teleporter to be transported back to the very beginning of the dungeon, at which you will proceed straight through the area that will now be accessible once you step on the platform. The next area will be several crystals that are surrounded by multiple units linked to it that additional units will spawn on some of them, and then others you'll just have to kill these, but you need to kill all of the units before you can deactivate the crystals. For the first ones, the predator units, do not have any abilities that you need to worry about. You'll just pick them up and AoE them down. The next group of units will have several Predator units like the first, but will also have a Colossus that functions like all of the other Iron Giant units. So keep them facing away from your party as they have frontal cone abilities, and then dodge out of any line AoEs or cone AoEs that they throw out also. After the few of the units are dead, there will be other additional units that spawn into the fight. The drones are best killed by melee people of your party, as the other units have a AoE around them, one that will constantly knock people back if they get too close. So those are best killed by your ranged units in your party. This one will have a droid, along with a few Predator units and a Deathclaw. The droid is a completely ranged unit, and the Deathclaw has a few AoEs that you'll need to avoid. For the boss, you'll want to keep him facing away from the party. He does have several AoEs that are party-wide that are unavoidable and will just need to be healed through. Anytime ads spawn into the fight, you will want to focus them down. The ads continuously move across the platforms, putting debuffs on certain parts of the platform that will do damage over time ability if anyone is standing in them. So you want as few of these platforms with this debuff as possible to mitigate damage. When the boss lights up other platforms, you want to move off of them, as shortly afterwards they will explode, dealing damage. When you cast a therochemical explosive, a debuff will go on to one of your party members that does significant damage, so the healer will want to cleanse that off of them. Anytime the landmines spawn, you'll just want to avoid the platforms that have the landmines on them, as they just have a one-time explosion when someone is on the platform with them. The landmine AoE does provide a damage up debuff, so being hit by a few of these will make the damage you're sustaining quite large, so you do want to avoid these. There will be random circle AoEs that are dropping onto the platforms that you'll just want to avoid. But this should be it for the Fractal Continuum. I hope this helps everyone out. If it does, please make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and I will catch you on the next one.